Hey, Tanya, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you, Charles? It's nice to see you again.
Wonderful. I know things are getting better in the district and looks like we're going to be going back to school pretty soon. So I know a
Yes,
lot of people are excited, but I know there's also some anxiety about that.
absolutely. And that makes sense for
Yeah.
sure with everything going on.
So, what do you think some of the issues are that it causes the anxiety for teachers, for students, for all stakeholders?
There's so many obviously variables and um, things that are on our minds as we start to even have the conversations about going back, right? There's
Mhm.
a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fears. People are thinking about, oh my gosh, who's going to take care of my children as I go back? There's lots of conversations at different levels being had, but I think overall the stress, the fear, the anxiety to go back is something that all of us are feeling, right? Teachers, students, directors, administrators, and society as a whole, right? I mean, just everybody in the community is feeling this.
Yeah, I know there's issues about the virus, about the vaccine. Is it safe? Am I going to be protected? And I know teachers and employees are getting vaccinated as quickly as they possibly can. But aside from that, I'm sure there's a mental anguish or there's a mental stress as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
There's a this undercurrent of stress that we're all feeling, and there's going to be a need for all of us to really be self-aware
Right.
of how we're feeling as we go back, and as we interact with children, we as the adults need to be hyper aware of really being thoughtful in interacting with students, interacting with parents, with people on our campuses, right, other staff members, and needing to check in, needing to say, hey, how are you doing, how are you feeling, and not just like, hi, how are you, fine, but really doing, we know as a check-in, right, that's why they're so important, but that need to really connect with people. We're all going to have our masks on still. There isn't that, touchy feeliness that we're so used to. So there's going to be this desire to connect. And that's a human need. And we know this in restorative practices, right? How important that is for the neurological connections, for the chemical reactions that happen in our body that are necessary for healing, for health, for connection, for even processing that goes on when it comes to education and rigor. And so this undercurrent of anxiety is something that we really need to be aware of, and we also need to do something about it. And
You made,
so, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you made a couple of good points. One, you talked about how the teachers have to be in the right frame of mind and the parents, and that's about self-care. And I think we both agree that I think teachers have to be in a place where they're comfortable emotionally so they can support students, like they need to put their mask on first before they help others. You also talked about check-ins,
Yes.
and I know we've talked about check-ins ad nauseum. And a lot of teachers, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't know where to find them. Can you talk about the check-ins and tell us what that looks like in the classroom, maybe where they can find them? Are there different types of check-ins? Talk
There,
about that a little bit.
there definitely are. And I know that, you and I have had several discussions about, the different types and, how important they are. And really it's like I said, it's a quick, hi, how are you? And you can do this at the beginning of class, you can do it in the middle of curriculum, but I think that it's something incredibly important at each stage of the day as you're with a new set of students, right? In elementary, you have the same students, even as they come back from lunch or recess. How are you doing now at this point of your day, right? Checking in with each other as staff members, even in PD. And when it comes to high school students, we have different periods, and really checking in with a new set of students. How are you now that you just finished English or math? And so throughout the day, we're going through different processes as we're feeling this anxiety, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks. And I know that there's a lot of resources that are being created for the first 2 to 3 weeks that we can find online. There's a lot of resources when it comes to check-ins, whether that's on our Schoology page for LD&E,
Mm-hmm.
restorative practices, or PBIS, which we can provide. But when it comes to check-ins, it's sometimes, hey, how are you feeling? And we've created check-ins that, if a child isn't able to express themselves and their emotions, which even adults have struggled with, you find symbols that they can say, you know what, I feel like a butterfly, or I feel like a bridge when it comes to check-ins. And that's a way to kind of exteriorize and connect and really understand our emotions and how we're feeling. Other ways to check in is saying, do you prefer this or that, right? And we've seen different check-ins that look like that are on a meter, right? From a scale of 1 to 5. How do I feel? And so there are different ways to really define a check-in.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to ask you also, I know there's going to be a daily pass and parents are going to have to wait in line to get their children in. Can you talk a little bit about that? And what do you think are some practices around the daily pass?
It's going to require a tremendous amount of patience from all of us, right? From the staff on campus, from the community, and also from parents and students. It's really going to have to be a lot of know-how on how to use the daily pass, and a quick check-in of temperature taking, of, are you feeling ill today? Do you, a quick little survey, so that we have a sense of safety. There's a sense of integrity of saying, I feel okay to be able to be on campus. And this is all really important. It's ways to really kind of care for each other, create that compassion and empathy with each other. But again, we're going to see lines. We're going to see, because of that anxiety that we're all carrying, we need to be able to make sure that we are checking our emotions, understanding how to react when we start to see what it looks like going back to school, for all of us, right? For all stakeholders, like you mentioned in the beginning.
Absolutely. I know we're so close to the end. We're in that Bell Lab. We can see the finish line, but we still need to be vigilant and practice good hygiene and distancing and be patient, because there will be a new normal until we get back to our regular normal. So the more that we can follow those directions and those procedures, the faster we're going to get back to our regular normal. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Tanya, before I let you go?
No, I just think I'm so grateful, Charles. Thank you for having these conversations, because whenever you and I have these conversations, and along with our other team members, we really get a great feedback with each other about, what can we do? How can we continue to support? So thank you so much for all of your know-how and experience with that.
I appreciate all your help and all your knowledge. So thanks again, Tanya. And I'll see you again next time.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.